shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Ras Tafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Ras Tafari.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lamb's voice. Now put it, I Jolly for say that.
Our family and another family that lived in the area were the only Rasta families again. So, but like I said, there was always this mutual respect for our family. We was like revered, like Rasta families were revered back then. Like nobody could do anything to you. And it was like this imaginary shield almost that you couldn't see. It was just
Yes.
like,
It wasn't imaginary, it was iritical, you know?
yes.
Iritical. Yeah, man.
When I say imaginary, I mean like invisible, sorry.
Yes, yes.
Invisible. You can't
Yes.
see it, you can't touch it, but you know, you're walking through the hallway in high school and then you'll just get like, yes, Empress, salute. And I'm like, I'm 12, like, oh, bless, you're right. Kind of thing with your school bags, you know, people wanting to come and carry your school bags. And yeah, that's when I really realized as well, like the power of Rastafari.
Power, yeah.
It was also when I took my first trip to Jamaica. That was like a really spiritual trip for me, and just seeing so much and being able to like go to like ancient Nyabingi houses and grounds, being able to go to like Bobo Hill for the first time after hearing about it in music for so long. So I think for me it was that sort of learning that really made me realize, you know, this is my king, this is my redeemer, this is my almighty. Rather than just, like I said, just following what your parents said, but it was like do your own research for yourself. And I think even when it comes to like things like daily prayers, Ras, like the power and the strength that I get. You mentioned the word power and strength at the beginning of this interview, and that all comes from Jah Rastafari. But one thing that frustrated me, I was watching TV and I was like, where's all the reggae artists? Like they were non-existent on TV, and
Yes.
that just stirred something in me where I was like, how can I be in Jamaica and I can't see any reggae artists on TV, or turning on the radio and you're hearing country and western and you're hearing, it really like disheartened me. And we would have to wait till Friday night for on stage or entertainment support to see a glimpse of what was happening in the industry. And I was like, that's too long to wait. You know, that's too long to wait. The music deserves to be platformed and highlighted and amplified every day. So when I came back, I was kind of thinking, I need to do something. How can we keep in touch and highlight what they're doing? So then the idea came up of doing a magazine. At that time, I wasn't a trained journalist. It was just the passion for writing was there. So I sort of just done a trial run, and that was with me and my younger sister. And during that trial run, it was just sort of like testing the market. Would people buy a magazine? Would they not? And the reception was something that I didn't expect. Like, I had PR people. Oh yeah, Itana said she'll do the interview. Oh yeah, Warrior King's available, and I was just like, whoa, 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 which was really nice. So, you know, I did a trial run for a few years and got some connections with artists and their managers and their record labels, and PR people were just so helpful. They said, we need this. We better keep this going. And I was like, okay, I am. And I kind of took a break. I went back to Jamaica to see if there was anything, or if it was still the same sort of thing where there wasn't that much, you know, space for reggae. And it was similar. It was still like, oh, why do we have to wait so long? And in that time I had children and I went back to work. You know, I had children. I was like, okay, I need to go back to work. So I went back to work in an office. I hated it. And then one day I came home and my son was like, Mum, This was my firstborn child, and he was like, "Mom, what do you want to be?" You know, they get to like 7, 8 years old, 6, and you're talking about what they want to be when they grow up. And you know, my son was telling me what he wants to be, and I'm encouraging him, and this conversation is going great. And then he looked at me and said, "Mom, what do you want to be?" And I said, "Oh, I want to be a journalist." And then he looked at me in the eye and he said, "Why are you not that?" Media is really important, because it shapes, whether we like it or not, it shapes people's perceptions, you know, and it also has the ability to get people help or not get people help. In simple terms, you know, it's very powerful in terms of telling people stories, in terms of advocating for social justice. And I think over the years, maybe we've taken the media aspect for granted, not realizing how powerful it is, especially with our community. I understand, like, you know, for us, it was a case of, you know, that's Babylon system. We don't want to have anything to do with it. But sometimes if you do not engage, they will write the story about you and tell people what they want to tell. So sometimes you have to infiltrate their systems so that you kind of have a bit of power to shape and tell the stories the way that they need to be told. Um, I think people don't realize as well the media has the power to hold people to account. So whether that's local authorities, whether that's government institutions, whether that's hospitals or whatever it may be, that is how powerful the media is. Sometimes when things happen, authorities won't speak to the public, but they have to provide a statement to the media. Even if it's they decline to comment, you can then put that in your report and let the public decide what does that, you know, decline to comment mean to you. You know, someone might say, "Oh, do you know they didn't even give a statement? What kind of people are that? They should have spoken to us." It's really storytelling, you know, and reporting on issues that matter. And I think we need to really take the media seriously. I think it was Malcolm X who said the media has the power to make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent. And I think that is the kind of place we need to be holding the media at. So Just Jar magazine was basically built off a for us by us model. You know, I wasn't seeing us represented in the media, and like I said earlier, if we was, there was always some sort of negative connotations attached to that. You know, it's sort of like enforcing historical stereotypes about the Rasta community. You're lazy, all you do is smoke weed, all you do is have lots of children, that sort of thing. You don't work, that sort of thing. And I just wanted to show people what our community is really about as someone who was born into it, as someone who lives in it every day. I'm very grounded in my community. And it was just a case of I wanted Just Jar magazine to be a mirror for what I saw every day. Um, and just to shift reporting away from racial bias, a lot of the anti-Africanness, anti-blackness that I saw when it came to reporting about the Rastafari community, I just wanted to tear that up and show it for what it really is. Um, and I think the media has a role to play. Historically, the media has a role to play in how sometimes the Rastafari movement is disrespected and sort of jokified and, you know, made out to be, you know, something that is not worthy of respecting. I think that comes from a lot of the media's historic portrayal. You know, whether it was little cartoon images drawn of us or whatever it may be, certain headlines and taglines. So Just Jar magazine just came to say, "Nah, you're not doing that anymore. You ain't not in this day and age. You're not doing that anymore." And like I said, it's for us by us. I'm the owner of Just Jar magazine. I'm the editor of Just Jar magazine. Um, so I decide ultimately what goes in the magazine, what doesn't. But ultimately, also, I always consult story ideas with my elders and say, "Is this accurate?" You know, I want their input. A lot of our guest writers as well in the past have been elders from our community who have those stories that would otherwise remain untold, or that would go sadly with them when they transition to their ancestors. Um, so yeah, I mean, even if there's any Rastafari elder or Rastafari young person out there who says, look, I want to write something, get in touch with us. There's a place for you. There's always a platform for you at Just Your Magazine. So for me, it's very much community based, and it's about just moving away from what Babylon media have put out there about us and taking control of that and saying, you're not doing that to us anymore. We're here to stay, and this is who we truly and really are. So 2019, I rebranded and brought Just Your Magazine back properly.
Wow.
And we're now 6 issues in. So Just Your is a print publication and social media platform, and these are like the 6 issues. I will send you some actually, Ras Tafari. You have to send me your shipping address and I'll get some out to you. And the reception was just so fantastic. So I mean, the first issue that I did, which is this one, this was done in collaboration with the Ras Daniel Hartman estate and Atto.
Yes, big up Atto, my brethren. Yes, big up Atto.
And I really wanted to honor his father because not a lot of people know about Ras Daniel Hartman and the impact his art had on Rasta communities and on the Jamaican art scene overall. So this was just a way to honor him. So that's the first issue. And then I did the second issue honoring His Majesty with an interview with one of his family members, Prince Asfa Wassin Asareti from Ethiopia. So he blessed me with this photo and gave us a really good interview with that. And then the third issue was in collaboration with the Peter Tosh estate. Of course, Peter Tosh was one of the members of the Whalers, and this was done with the wonderful sister-in-law is Nyambi McIntosh, daughter of Peter Tosh. She was just fantastic. She gave me a really in-depth interview about her father, his history, his legacy. And then I also interviewed for the 4th issue the Honourable Barbara Blake Hannah, who was the first Black TV presenter in the UK, but she is also a member of the Jamaican government, and she was like the first. She's a Rastafari like advisor. She advises the government on Rastafari.
Yes, I know Mama Barbara very well, and her son,
She's
big up
so amazing.
Yes, big up McConnon, Mama Barbara, blessings.
Absolutely. And then the last one was, this was the 5th one. Yeah, this is the 5th one. So this one was honoring King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, the founder of the Bobo Shanti movement. And I did this in collaboration with his 2 sons, so Priest Jesus and also Priest Abuna. And then the last issue, which came out last summer, is honoring Queen Omega from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, big up Queen Omega.
Those are our
making waves in South Africa.
Yes.
Internet on fire with our rival. Big up Queen Omega.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's some of the interviews. And then within each one, there's interviews with members of the Rastafari community, Rastafari elders, community champions, Rastafari businesses. There's ITAL food recipes in the magazine. Right. There's prayers. There's so much information in each one. And yeah, people can just subscribe or they just want to buy one issue, they can, and we ship them out globally. It's a mixture of things. So there's ads. People can place ads in the hard copy. They can also place ads on our social media platforms, which have just grown astronomically over the last 2 years.
Yes.
But also it's a subscription model, so people can subscribe to Just Your Magazine for the whole year. And that is also where a lot of the monetization comes in. So it's the ads, it's the subscriptions, but also under my leadership, distribution has helped a lot. So I've managed to secure distribution deals for Just Your Magazine in Barbados, in Japan, and also in Miami in the US. And that's where a lot of the money has also come from in terms of just funding the magazine. But also as the social media side of things has just grown, which I don't know how, but it just has. I'm now seeing that our Facebook page is monetized and our Instagram page, which has about, I think, 75,000 followers on Instagram. Thank you to everybody who's been following us on social media for sure. So Instagram is now monetized as well. So that will help. And then in terms of plans for the future, we have so much content to go on our YouTube channel, which we are looking to launch this summer.
Yes.
Past interviews, past reasonings with Rasta elders. I've also got so much Naya Bingi footage from my time as a young Ras. I've got so much that I want to put on that channel and help to also grow that as well. And then also just like speaking engagements and partnerships, we're always open to partnering with people as well who are interested in doing business with us as a magazine and also as a social media platform. It's a must. It's
Okay.
a must. And when I say it's a must, it's not just me using Rastafari language and saying repatriation is a must. I think it's a case of that's where we're supposed to be. Life in the West, and I'm sure it's hard. I know a lot of people, our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean or Africa, they want to come to the West to make money. Yeah, I get it, but it's hard. The weather's hard, the conditions are hard, the stuff you have to put up with sometimes can be quite difficult. And I think there's nothing more beautiful than returning back to the source, returning back to where your ancestors originally came from, and just making that full circle journey, and doing what so many wanted to do but never had the chance to do. I'm very aware that in the Caribbean, there is multiple people, Rastafari people, who would love to go back to Africa, and I think if we're in the position to do that, we should definitely do it. And I don't take that opportunity for granted. So there's things happening, but I can't talk about them just yet.
No, no.
Firstly, Ras Kwesi, give thanks for having me on your platform and just making me feel so welcome. And like I said to you, I'm usually behind the scenes. I'm not usually out there, but you really made me feel welcome, and I was able to open up and share so much. So thank you, and all your encouragement about what I'm doing with Just Jar, and just for the wider Rastafari community watching. Just know our community is so powerful. Our community is so rich in history, in tradition, and everything that we're seeing now. I mean, if you didn't know it, you should know it now, because everything that we're seeing sort of like in mainstream, it all has roots in Rastafari. Now all of a sudden, everyone is vegan this, vegan that. And I'm like, hold on, I tell Rastafari from how long, And people just becoming more environmentally aware and stuff like that, So I just want us to hold on, and really embrace each other, support each other. And I love the idea that you were saying about an ecosystem where we have to make this Rastafari pound circulate within our community a few times before it leaves our pockets and goes elsewhere. I would love to see more of that. So if there are any Rastafari writers, any Rastafari businesses that want to, showcase their stuff in Just Jar magazine, want an interview, they can hit me up on social media. They can follow us on Instagram. And I would just say, to the global Rastafari community, I love every single one of you. I'm so proud of our community, everything we've overcome, the strength, the resilience, the power, the spiritual upliftment that you get from just even a reasoning, let alone going into a bingy space, just even reasoning with a Rastafari. It really just pours so much light on you. And that's what I've got from this conversation with you, Ras. So thank you so much. And to my Rastafari community. I love you all, and one love, one aim, one destiny, and Jah Rastafari lives and reigns in the hearts of all of us.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice.
Jano, I'm so hungry, bro. I haven't eaten all day. Like, my head started to hurt me too. Like, what more could I eat right now?
What about a city samosa? Get your samosa, a fusion of Indian, Jamaican and African culture. City samosas, the best samosas in the city.
Yeah, Ras Tafari, Empress Fleary the first. Tell the people about Empress Fleary. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, but to the coming while we stand tall, I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see the city streets them flood, but when the hurricane blow down their wall, I'll be by your side and me nah budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, that light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming while we stand tall, I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see their city streets them flood, when the hurricane blow down our wall, I'll be by your side and me nah budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I.
What do you have to tell the people about Ras Tafari?
Light to the world. King of kings and the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. I like himself. Where's right for ruler? Hey yo! Yeah, hail them high, hail the black king, born the 23rd of July. So tell them guy, who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time them a try, them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people, then them comes without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill the lion we come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, I and I strive, see sufferation, I and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come to tell them in a Toronto street.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chasmach Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, a creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Talk. Welcome to Lion Talk and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lionesses are telling their own story. It is Women's History Month and we are continuing to highlight the Rastafari woman around the globe. It's been such a joy to bring these voices to the global family, and we have so many more. This is an annual feature for this channel. However, the item know we bring Rastafari woman all through the year, but it's nothing wrong with a highlight. There's nothing wrong. That's why even though some of these highlights come out of the mainstream Babylon thing, we just work with it because there's nothing wrong with positive. You understand? We can amplify the positive without a problem. Black history, women's history, reggae history. These things are to be taught all throughout 365 days of the year. However, there's nothing out of place by giving them a highlight within a time span. So this month, we are highlighting our Rastafari women and the mighty works that they are doing, the trailblazing that they are doing. Today's guest is one of those that I've been watching and in awe of the work product, in awe of the relentless, excellence. And we are going to go into a topic that the item know I've been called by His Imperial Majesty to this topic, and the topic is Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media, the rising, having our own media, having our own voice, owning our own platforms, most importantly, not depending on third parties to control the Rastafari narrative. We're going to go there, and so I am so excited about this topic, family. However, before we go into the topic and I introduce today's guest, I have to big up the greatest movement on this YouTube platform, which is the Lion Pride. Big up on yourself. And if you subscribe, you are part of the Lion Pride, fastest growing Rastafari platform on the planet. We continue to expand. We are full enjoying our time in the 30,000s, on our way to 40,000 subscribers. And one of the things that as we grow, as people are finding, the word is spreading, what the thing that we want to emphasize is action, taking action, not being a passive participant in the Armageddon. We are no longer the lambs to the slaughter. We are the lions that conquer. And the lions have to tell their own story. And as ones are finding the platform, they're supporting. Big up the Lion Pride on Patreon. 30 Fire Angels come together, contributing financially to the platform. We are in our 100 Lion Pride Strong campaign. So, we have a chance to join as a financial arm. We are offering free consultation, creative industry consultation. So we're actually within our Patreon building other YouTube platforms, building other creative ecosystems where sharing that knowledge. Everything that the IDMCI and I doing, we're sharing with our Lion Pride and Patreon family because we don't want to be here alone. So that offer continues until April 1st. So try manifest it. We're gonna do something else after April 1st, but that offer is there for the global family to become part of our 100 Lion Pride strong team. Now, big up the Ubuntu Lion Pride, 7 Fire Angels. If you give an attribution over $70 US currency, you become part of the Ubuntu Lion Pride. And we big up those ones who, great for families, small businesses, to get that exposure, support independent media. We know that we love that. Also, we have the Action Lion Pride. If you don't want to support financially, you can like, you can comment, and you can share. And you're still a valued part of this ecosystem. And then we have the Watch and Peep. We have to big up the Watch and Peep, the watchers. We're close to 50,000 a month. People who are viewing the content. And the peepers, these are the people with the bad mind that's come to see when we pop down if we make a mistake, and we still big them up. But this is one of the most dangerous sites for peepers, because if you peep too much, you become a lover of the channel, and then your bad mind goes away because there's too much positivity. So if you're a peeper, be careful peeping on this platform, because it's dangerous to peepers. May I tell them the truth. Big up Ras Tafari King Design, big up CMAS Life, Wally Kings Graphics, all of the sponsors that make this possible. Also, big up City Samosa. We do have our young entrepreneur program. If you have a Rastafari youth under 20, we offer free advertising on the platform. City Samosas are first, and you saw that beautiful commercial. I'm telling all of my Lion Pride in Jamaica, when you see City Samosa at the event, Veggie Meals on Wheels, wherever she there, we often just clear out her inventory. We buy out everything. Let's put this young lady under pressure of supply and demand and make her feel what it feels like to sell out every time she touches the road. We're so proud of our young entrepreneurs in the Rastafari family. Our youths are brilliant. So big up City Samosa, Princess Sitota, the whole Veggie Meals on Wheels family. Big up on yourself. We are moving forward. One family, one Rastafari. All right. Housekeeping out of the way. We are going into our guests. Today we go all the way to the UK, to London, Buckingham, one of the places that we like to ignite that heretical fire underneath the Buckingham. We are going there to see the ones, just like Ayman is in Washington, D.C., and we have to hold a certain level of fire right here in the belly, in the bowels. The ones them in London is one of them space there, where they have to hold a hot fire. And this sister is actually a professional journalist. So I come into journalism. We rise up Rastafari Independent non-aligned media, but we have ones who are trained, who get up every day, and that they must do is really keep the people informed. And we're going to find out about her journey and all of the mighty works that she's doing. This is a pleasure, and I want the entire Lion Pride family help I to welcome Empress Fleary. Fleary. Royal blessings, my sister. What a joy. Greetings.
Greetings, Ras Tafari. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction and welcome.
And did I pronounce the name correctly?
You did, yeah.
Give thanks, give thanks. This is one I'm looking forward to. So if you just see a permanent smile on my face, you know what is happening to I feel good. All right, so customary for all of our guests that come on this platform, I'm going to ask the eye to step into our heretical time machine and take us to the moment of your birth. Where were you born? Give us the origin story of this
Wow.
rising star?
Okay, so I was born in London, West London to be specific. Um, my parents are from the Caribbean, so my mom was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and my dad was born in Carriacou, Grenada. So Carriacou is a sister island, a smaller sister island of mainland Grenada. And they came to the UK as children. So their parents had come to the UK as part of the Windrush generation, and they got sort of, I don't want to say left behind, but they were left in the Caribbean, raised with grandparents, and they came as children. And then just sort of like fast forward, they met when they were about 18, like they were really young. Um, and they just sort of like fell in love, started a family. So I have two older brothers and sisters. I'm the third child for my mom and dad. So I was born in the 1980s. Believe it or not, everyone's always shocked. Yeah, 1980s. So I was born in 1984. So you can work out my age from there.
Yes, yes.
In West London. My parents sort of settled in like the Shepherd's Bush area of West London, which was like, oh, it's just like the best place to live. Very multicultural. There was in the 80s and the 90s, there was like a really large Caribbean community. So it really felt like everyone knew each other, everyone looked out for each other. And there was like a real cultural buzz about that part of West London as well. It's maybe about 10 minutes from Notting Hill. I'm sure you've heard of Notting Hill, Ladbroke Grove area.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's about 10 minutes from there. And Shepherd's Bush is known for having like a world famous market, Shepherd's Bush Market, which has been there for over 100 years.
Okay.
In that market, you can get all your African and Caribbean food. So I'm assuming that's why my parents decided to live in Shepherd's Bush, was because of the close community of people like themselves, but also just having access, during the 80s and 90s to foods that they grew up on and that they loved as well, especially being ITAL as well. It was difficult then to find ITAL food in the 80s and 90s, but the market really served a great purpose for them and their sort of dietary requirements. So yeah.
Your parents were ITAL, your parents were Rastafari?
Yeah, so yeah, by the time I was born, so my parents grew up in like Christian households. My dad grew up in a 7-day Adventist household. But when they got to like 18, 17, it was like, for a lot of young Black Caribbean people at the time in Britain, they just wanted something more. They could really identify with Rastafari. And they found Rastafari at a really young age. So by the time I was born into a Rasta household. I didn't know anything different. My older sister, my older brother, they were Rasta. They are Rasta. And when I came along, that was just the norm for me, so I don't know anything else. And then now with my children, it's like a third generation Rasta household that I now have with my family.
Yeah, Rastafari, Empress Fleary the first. Tell the people about Empress many. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, but to the coming while we stand tall, I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see the city streets them flood. But when the hurricane blow down your wall, I'll be by your side and me nah budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. Your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. That light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is up upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start mal, but they see their city streets them flood, when the hurricane blow down our wall, I'll be by your side and me now but think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, your love was a lifeline. They say hurt people, maybe that's why Babylon them so evil. Maybe Babylon abused as a child. That's why them no like the light when you smile. That's why them no like how your body curve. The way how you dance get on Babylon nerve. Them no know how the Almighty you serve. Want to be a queen, so a king you deserve. And I'll be by your side when things get worse. When the city flood cause the dam just burst. When you can depend on no state or church. Firm like a Menin and highly Selassie firm.